We're back at the USA Archery Indoor Nationals Final 2020 edition from the NFA Easton Archery Center in Yankton, South Dakota. One of the most, beautiful facilities. You like archery, this is the spot to do it. Indoor, outdoor, it's all over the place. I'm Greg White, sitting alongside Vic Wonderly, 2000 silver medalist in the Olympics. And Vic, we are ready for one of the most exciting classes that we have, barebow competition.
One of the interesting things about this barebow competition is it's a gender-neutral competition. Men and women compete against each other, and we had.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Okay, we had Fawn had made it to the finals here at one point not long ago, and was a medalist in the world field. So we have a lot of participation in this. Yeah. Prize money sponsored by Lancaster.
Talking about Fawn Gerard. All right, let's talk about our archers who have made it to this gold medal match. John Winker is going to be on target number 1. John's 43-year-old from Raleigh, North Carolina, owns First Flight Archery, Bow Shop, and Jarrett Kellan, who obviously wearing the hat, is 46 years old out of Wisconsin. So we have East Coast versus Midwest in barebow competition. Vic, when I say barebow, what am I talking about?
Their bow here, it has no sights on it. So in the other divisions, they have an aiming device that they're using to line the shot up. They are only typically using the tip of their arrow to line up their shot. So it's very traditional, very instinctive.
For John Winker, this is his largest in terms of final stage tournament that he's going to be shooting. Both of these archers, by the way, Vic, have only started shooting archery around 3 years ago.
That's a long ways to come in a short amount of time.
What's John doing? How's he getting that arrow downrange? Ooh, Winker starting off with the center punch.
That's an amazing shot for a barebow archer.
So tell us about how they're aiming without a sight device.
He's looking down, they're looking down the arrow, and they're trying to put the tip of the arrow somewhere on the target as a reference point. And sometimes it's a little bit of that Kentucky windage, so to say, where they may have to aim a little higher or a little lower to make that fit.
Looking at Kellan, who, like I said, started shooting a couple years ago. He finished 4th in Vegas. 2-time Wisconsin state champion is the 46-year-old. Just ripping up through the ranks in barebow. Huge community all over social media. You could just search barebow on Facebook and you'll be connected with some of the top barebow archers in the world. What shooting from John Winker. I mean, how do you start off with a 29 with a barebow? Incredible.
I don't know. It looks to me like they should be in the Olympic-style recurve division with as good as they're shooting.
And I'm not really sure how John Winker was able to get Steve Anderson in there as a as an advocate for his shooting, but good job by John. Interesting note, though, about John Winker, who's going to take that set scoring system as we shoot, by the way, 20 yards downrange from where the archers stand to where the targets are. He injured his wrist last year, Vic, and is right wrist, and so he actually had switched to shooting left-handed, and it wasn't until about a month ago where he was able to get back to right-handed shooting. To me, that's absolutely incredible. I think about the way I shoot a compound bow. I'm not sure about you in shooting a recurve bow, but I don't think I could easily switch hands and go back and forth left to right.
That is an extremely difficult and complicated thing to do. That just shows what a talented archer he is.
So these archers doing some interesting things with their equipment. Now, John Winker, you can see that he's got carbon arrows. I mean, those are like 325 spine super drive 23s that you normally would see a compound archer shooting in ASA competition. But look at the size of the points. He's got 50 grain inserts with 170 grain points. Wait, when you talk about barebow, it is a very unique sport.
It is. They don't have the stabilizers on to add the balance and weight, but they are able to put some weights right up against the bow to add a little bit of mass weight to it. It's probably, too, with his long arrows and heavy points, he's trying to get that point of the arrow to extend out further from the bow so he can have his aiming point closer to the middle of the bullseye. Chances are they're putting the point of that arrow well below the bullseye of the target to get it to hit there, because you can see the knock of the arrow is below their eye and it's pointed upwards into the air, so their aiming point's going to be low somewhere.
Part of the appeal of Barebow, obviously, is the fact that unlike, say, Compound, where everything really is perfect, I mean, it's nothing but, you know, 10s and 9s with an occasional 8, that any score is a good score here in Barebow, and any time it can change just like that. So you see up top, you have in the red ring, the first red ring is an 8, then a 7. For John Winker, he's actually shredding this right now. So you're talking about a 10, a 9, and an 8 in a gold medal match for a guy who hasn't been competing at this level. The 43-year-old Winker is crushing it right now.
John owns his own archery shop, and his friend John Ehrman, that's next to him there, is also works in the shop as a compound shooter. So both of those work in First Flight Archery in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Yeah, with the hat on behind him, having a conversation with him. You know, what's interesting in talking to John Winker, a lot of us, we show up to a match like this, or even in elimination rounds, or that are before the gold medal match, and we have nerves and we shake. For John, he was telling me that it's more like he gets loaded up with excitement like you would on a roller coaster. You know, going to a roller coaster, it's not so much nerves. And as he gets further on down the match, he gets more excited and more excited. So he said, don't be surprised, John Winker said, if you see a big smile on his face as he continues on with this match, to the point where he said his face might hurt by the end, just because that excitement that he feels creates a big smile on his face. So very different in terms of how you deal with pressure.
People deal with pressure in different ways. Sometimes it evokes that fight or flight response, and but it's great to see how much he loves it, how much he enjoys it, that he's smiling through the match like that.
Our 5th place qualifier in the nation after 13 different venues in the U.S. Archery Indoor. 544 competed in Barebow this season, and John Winker on the verge of grabbing his first gold medal. It's 4 set points to 0, and Jarrett Kellan starts off really strong with a 10, putting the pressure on Winker. Ooh, looks like he's going to grab that line. So a 10 for Winker as well. This for Jarrett to stay alive in this match.
I think it caught the 9. All tied up for this set.
A good shot of the simplicity of Barebow archery. Good, that's solid scoring point. 9.
10 to win this. 10 to win the match.
Oh, and he throws it a little high in the 8 ring.
So we'll go to the next set.
So will the 46-year-old Kellan out of Dorcount, Wisconsin, stay alive in this set, 4-2? We wait for official confirmation. This is Barebow at its finest, isn't it, though? Because you just never know. I mean, each arrow has so much impact in Barebow archery.
I know when I shot the World Field Championship, we had 1 compound, 1 recurve, and 1 Barebow on the team. And the Barebow is the biggest factor. They have the most to gain or lose for the team. And in our case, Mark Applegate was our Barebow guy, and he pretty much helped us win the event with his great shooting. And here we have 2 Barebow guys that are just carrying on the fine tradition that we have here in the U.S. of Barebow archery.
For John Winker, he was able to defeat the great John Demmer to get into this gold medal match. Demmer was able to defeat Grayson Partlow for bronze earlier on today. It was the first time that John Winker was able to defeat John Demmer in head-to-head competitions. He had outscored him before in qualifications. So that was quite an accomplishment for this North Carolinian. Oh boy, I don't know. Looking at these arrows right now, you have to question yourself, are the wheels falling off, or is this archer just stepping up his game? Ooh, right part of your screen, look at that one, just to the right side of the spider, nearly dead center.
I'm sure Jarrett's 3 girls and his son will be very excited watching that back in Door County, Wisconsin.
You could see that John Winker was pretty excited about his 10. that 10 again. So now we're going to have to see what the score looks like. This thing continues to go back and forth. So we wait for those scores to come up. So it looks like Winker is going to have 8, a 10, and if he catches that line, that's going to be the 9. And the same score for Jarrett Kellan. That would split our match points, and so it would be 5-3.
So 5-3, John only has to tie this next set to win. Jarrett has to win it outright to force a shoot-off.
Steve Anderson pulling arrows for John Winker, our silver medalist from earlier on today. You can go back and watch that coverage. Could this be the final 3 arrows of competition for the 2020 USA Archery Indoor Nationals final? This archer needs to be clean to keep this match rolling. And he starts it off with a 10. John Winker able to match that one with a 10 as well. Ooh, he drops it low.
7 points. That leaves an open door.
Let's see what Winker can do here. Pressure's on. He gets 9, so that's a 2-point advantage. Deep breath. Jarrett needs to put this in the 10 ring to put the pressure on Winker. A great shot, but he drops it low in the 8. John Winker's destiny in his own hands right now. And he scores a 9. So John Winker, under enormous pressure, able to close the deal. A handshake. And the First Flight Archery owner and shooter who came from Compound and decided to keep his love of archery alive with Barebow awaits the final score. But it sure looks good for John Winker, doesn't it, Vic?
It does, it does. John's only been shooting Barebow for 3 years, but he's been shooting for about 15 years in total, working at that First Flight Archery in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Unbelievable. So John Winker now confirmed as your gold medalist for the 2020 USA Archery Indoor Nationals. What a run for John Winker. I remember talking with him after all the scores had been compiled and he was the 5th place qualifier. He knew that he was getting to come here as a top 8 and the possibility of winning the national title. He just had to sit on it for months during this COVID, situation. So what a way to show up here in Yankton and get it done.
Yeah, usually they finish the finals, they qualify, and they roll right into the U.S. finals. But this year with COVID, there was a big delay. Normally the indoor season would just be starting up in a month or 2, but they had to sit through the entire outdoor season before rejoining for the indoor finals here in Yankton.
So what'd you think about the finals we had here today? Some very interesting, in women's recurve, of course, the 16-year-old against the 15-year-old, Brady Ellison coming back, after being a month away from the bow, and now this Barebow final as a first-time gold medalist.
It's very exciting, very interesting to see what people have done during their off time this year with COVID and how they've done that. And some of these archers have really excelled and practiced up well and trained up well for this, as demonstrated here at the competition.
So we await the arrival of John Winker to get him on the headset to talk with him. And how excited he's going to be to head home to North Carolina with a gold medal around his neck. John's got to put that Barebow down. You just kind of lay it on the floor. All right, so John with his headset on. John, congratulations. What a match. You really fought through for that one.
Thank you very much. That was fun.
Tell me about that match a little bit. You started off, absolutely shredding, and then things started to settle down in the middle for you.
Yeah, so my normal coach, which would be my wife, wasn't here today, and I had my kind of my secondary coach. He's my #1 employee at the shop, and kind of gave me the wake up and said, hey, you got to keep that shot strong, keep it going toward the middle, and yeah, from there on it was just smooth sailing.
Could you pull one of those arrows out of the quiver and show us what the secret is to your success? Is this going to be the newest trend in barebow competition?
Yeah, this might be. I'm shooting the Super Drive 23. It's a 325 spine. Because of the poundage I'm pulling and my draw length, I get a little bit stiffer arrow. That's a 250 grain top hat point and the 50 grain standard insert for that.
Unbelievable. Yeah, we could hear the impacts on that. Now, I did talk about during the broadcast your injury to your wrist. How did it hold up during the match?
Pretty good. In practice, it was getting a little tender, so I stopped shooting. And should be good from now. I'm hoping it heals up by the time indoor season comes back around.
John, where's the medal going? Home or the shop?
I think I'll take the medal to the shop.
All right, you can go see that at First Flight Archery in Raleigh, North Carolina. John, congratulations. What a run you've had. I know you've been waiting for this for a while, and you got it done.
Thank you very much. It's been a blast.
All right. Well, that'll do it. John Winker, your gold medalist here. And that'll do it for all of us at the 2020 USA Archery Indoor Nationals Final. Vic, final thoughts on what you saw today?
This was some amazing shooting, seeing especially at the first indoor tournament of the year, and to see a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old making the finals, to see our men's recurve lighten it up, shooting really well, and these barebows shooting as good as what most people can do with a sight. This has been an amazing final.
$70,000 worth of prizes given to the archers competing here today. Well, that'll do it for the 2020 USA Archery Indoor Nationals Finals from the NFA Easton Archery Center in Yankton, South Dakota. We certainly hope you enjoyed the coverage. And John Winker gets to go home with a gold medal around his neck, and he'll hang it up at his shop in Raleigh, North Carolina. Thanks for joining us. For our entire crew, we'll see you next time.
That's a good feeling to know I can make this bow do whatever I want it to do and it will react.
This thing is just so much more stable, and it just controls an arrow so well.
Coolest part about it is all you need is a Torx wrench and a couple of Allen wrenches, and you can just stand there on the line. You don't have to run and put it in the press and move those shims. This is a dream to work with right now.
One chance, one moment, one shot.
Announcing the new patent-pending CarboFlax stabilizers. A biocomposite blend of carbon and flax. Flax plant yields a natural fiber with very advanced properties. Flax offers 3 times the vibration dampening of glass and 20% more than carbon. Natural composites are up to 15% lower weight than carbon fiber. TrueBall Excel. We make archery better.